Today we're talking about the Mamiya 645 Super, or any Mamiya for that matter of fact. They're all pretty close. So this was actually the first medium format camera that I had actually got. Well, kind of. I originally had the Mamiya 1000S, a more dated model that I actually ended up breaking. This camera was my first introduction to medium format film from my beloved Olympus OM10. Switching from a traditional 35mm SLR to this giant box of a camera was interesting to say the least. I mean, after all, it's just a customizable, modular, boxy camera. It's pretty awkward shooting through something as obtuse and just oddly shaped. But you know, the more you shoot, the better you get, and the more you shoot, the more you get used to, I guess, kind of the ergonomics of the camera. With my 1000S, I had a waist level viewfinder, which was definitely interesting and gives a unique perspective, especially with portraits. This too had its own learning curve, but like I said before, the more you shoot, the more you get used to it. As far as lenses go, the systems actually take a whole slew of focal lengths and accessories. I had the 80mm 2.8 and the 55mm 2.8, with the 80mm being the one I primarily had used. I really love that lens. The bokeh you got on it was really buttery and it was great for portraits. I remember getting my first roll of 645 back and being absolutely blown away by the negative. Comparing to a full frame or 35mm camera, I couldn't believe the amount of data and resolution that was on the negative. Obviously the negative is larger than 35mm, but I guess it kind of took the actual physical negative for me to fully comprehend it. The 645 means it shoots 15 shots on a single roll, which is significantly more cost effective than, say, the 6x7 10 shots per roll. Now I own the Mamiya 645 Super, which is shockingly similar to its predecessor but comes with a few key upgrades. The first and foremost is the addition of switchable and removable film backs. With the Super, you can carry multiple film backs preloaded with different film stocks, and you can switch them out halfway through a shoot. So let's say you were shooting Portrait 400 and then realized you wanted to shoot some black and white. You can switch it out and not have to completely finish the roll, which is pretty handy. But you have to make sure you're using the dark side properly so you don't pre-expose your film. One cool thing about the Super 2 is it actually won't let you open up the back without the dark slide in. Kind of an overarching theme of this camera is it being very beginner friendly to people who've never shot medium format. The Super also accepts 220 film backs, 135 film backs, and even Polaroids. Additionally, the Super I use has a power winder, which actually winds the film for you, but it is quite noisy. Lastly, the Super has a plastic yet durable design that I think beats out the older models. I think it really does say something that my 1000S broke despite it being all metal. I mean, after all, these cameras are really old. Some years later, Mamiya released the Mamiya Pro and Pro TL. The differences between the three are quite minuscule. The Pro TL has in-body metering, which if you really like having light metering in the camera, then maybe it's worth it. For me, I liked the robust analog feel of the Super. That being said, I think the camera is very intuitive and straightforward. Anyone who shot manual 35mm can definitely pick this camera up and learn within an afternoon. Everything is neatly sorted on the camera and it has a simple workflow. When I first bought this camera, I actually took it on a 3-week trek through Europe through multiple countries. Despite this camera being clunky and large and kind of awkward to use and carry, I took some of my favorite photos I've ever taken, and definitely my favorite photos on the trip were taken on this camera. Making the jump from digital to film, you have to be super intentional as you're obviously limited to a number of shots per roll and you're basically paying per shot. I kind of felt the same jump with this coming from 35mm, going from 36 shots down to only 15. Being limited by shots, you really have to eye up each composure and kind of be particular with how you want to capture each moment. Now with that being said, I have shot larger cameras like the Pentax 6.7, RB6.7, RZ6.7. Now that I've shot those larger medium format cameras, this camera feels tiny in comparison. My perspective has definitely changed on this camera the more I've used it and gotten used to other larger medium format cameras. So I think your perspective and what you've shot previously will definitely determine how you feel about this camera ergonomically. Ultimately, I think if you're trying to jump into medium format from 35mm format, the Mamiya 645 systems might be the perfect camera for you. They're super intuitive and easy to use even with no background shooting 120 film. Alternatively, if you normally shoot 6x7 and looking to get a smaller camera that maybe lets you shoot a little more, I think the 15 shots in the 645 format is not to be understated. The quality coupled with the amount of frames might make it the best medium format beginner camera out there. Alright, so that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I was really excited to do this video. Like as I said, it was my first medium format camera, so I felt like I had a lot to say about it. I would have loved to get out and actually shoot photos for the videos for you guys, but due to COVID-19, I'm kind of locked in my house. With that being said, I'm still going to be making videos Sundays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every week. Let me know if you guys have shot the Mamiya 645 or what you thought of the photos I've taken before. It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts in the comments. Otherwise, I think that's all I got for you guys. Peace out and stay safe.